Firstly, let's talk about the attempts by migrants to cross the Channel. It's such a perilous journey, yet many are willing to risk their lives to take this route.
Yes, so there are a lot of reasons that migrants risk their lives. One central reason is that they don't have secure housing and accommodation and even nutrition in France. So France has a lack of housing for asylum seekers who are awaiting their decision. Even asylum seekers who set up tents on the streets of Paris are often forced out of the tents, their belongings taken by the police. And so people are in really difficult conditions in France, or many people are. A lot of people want to be reunited with family members in the UK, especially after having fled war and various traumas they've experienced. They want to be reunited with their both extended and immediate family. And the only way to do that nowadays is to risk their life crossing the Channel. And other means of getting to the UK have been blocked off to them. So it used to be easier to get into a lorry and try to access the UK. That's more difficult now, both because of the pandemic and because of Brexit and because of tightened border controls. So
at the moment, France and the UK are in dispute over who should take these migrants in.
So there needs to be a policy where those who have strong ties to the UK can move to the UK. So for example, there are people who are unaccompanied children and they have nobody to take care of them in France. They have family members who are willing to take care of them in the UK, and they just have no way of getting to the UK, and right now don't have the legal means of doing so. Other people just don't have enough rights in France. They, like I said, they're homeless in France. And in those kind of scenarios, France should invest more money in helping them access accommodation and rights. So it's not really a question of how many migrants should be in France versus how many in the UK, but it's who needs to live in different countries depending on the ties they have.
So, Mollie, then who is responsible for their safety? It'll be both countries or many countries. And how might this be complicated by the fact that the UK, as you mentioned before, Brexit is no longer a part of the EU?
So when it comes to safety, right now, migrants who have been killed and migrants who risk their lives, one reason they're unsafe is because the smugglers they pay don't ensure their safety. And the reason they don't ensure their safety is because they don't have any reason to. So right now, all smuggling is criminalized. So as Boris Johnson recently said, smuggling should be criminalized because these smugglers and many others are literally getting away with murder. But that's not true. They're getting away with manslaughter because they're not ensuring secure boats. And they don't ensure secure boats because they don't have any reason to. They're going to get arrested either way. So the current policy of widespread criminalization of all smugglers means that migrants are much less safe crossing the Channel than they would be if the UK and France invested in targeting those smugglers who are especially negligent, who are especially unsafe, instead of just trying to ban all smuggling practices. So I think both countries are equally responsible for creating circumstances where migrants are not safe, where they can't be safe in France because they can't access housing, they can't reach family members in the UK because that's blocked, and they only have smugglers who are not providing safe passage.
And Boris Johnson's approach to addressing this crisis is mostly about increasing border security, but you believe this is not the best approach?
No, so increasing border security can actually just increase the price that migrants pay to smugglers. So it can increase smugglers' profits. It also reduces safety for migrants. So if a smuggler is trying to not get arrested, not get caught, one great way to not get caught is to put a lot more migrants in a boat so that more can reach the UK. So that means more migrants actually end up reaching the UK on a given trip. And it also means more migrants end up getting killed because the boats are less secure. So increasing border security can actually ironically increase the number who arrive in the UK, and also can tragically increase the number who end up being killed on the journeys. So when Boris Johnson says, here's 5 things France can do, and 4 of those 5 are just tackling smugglers and increasing border security, that just won't have the effect that they want it to have.
And just finally, how should countries be responding to improve the safety of migrants?
So one thing they should do is increase resettlement visas. The UK promised to resettle Afghan soldiers who had helped British troops. they didn't. And one of the migrants who was killed on the boat was an Afghan soldier who had helped British troops and his family. Increasing resettlement visas gives migrants a reason not to pay smugglers and not to risk their lives. And it ensures that those who actually do have strong ties to certain countries can move to those countries, and rightfully so. So that's one solution. Another solution, as I said before, targeting smugglers who are especially unsafe. And a third solution is improving the conditions that migrants and asylum seekers have when they reach countries like France and the UK. And finally, increasing aid to low-income and middle-income countries who are hosting the vast, vast majority of the world's refugees. Most asylum seekers and migrants and refugees can't afford to pay smugglers. It costs thousands of dollars to reach Europe at all. It costs even more money to try to reach a specific country in Europe. So the tens of millions of asylum seekers who are living in Pakistan, in Kenya, in Jordan, in Turkey, in Lebanon, and in dozens of other countries, they need more aid to ensure that they can live and work safely, giving them an extra incentive not to migrate onwards.
Well, we will be keeping a close eye on how things develop. Mollie Gerver, thanks so much for talking to us.
Yeah, thank you.